Hello, online sellers. In today's video, I want to talk to all of you that are just starting your business and what you need to know about sales tax. Before we dive in, if you haven't, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell sign so every time we publish a new video, you will get notified. Here at LedgerGurus, we help tons of e-commerce businesses with their accounting and with their sales tax, and we really want to help you and make you feel confident to expand your business, to start your business, and to venture into this exciting e-commerce world. So today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about sales tax when you're starting your business. So here we go. There are two types of nexus you need to pay attention to. So nexus means that you have a connection with the state or a local jurisdiction that gives that state or local jurisdiction the authority to have you be their fiduciary agent to collect tax on their behalf and remit it to them. If there's not enough a connection, then they cannot ask you to do that for them. So if you're just starting your business, the first question you need to ask yourself is, where do I have physical nexus? So where do you have physical presence? Whether it's being established through people and employee, remote working employees also count. Owners that are not really actively participating in the day-to-day business also count. But subcontractors that are not engaged in the selling of the products do not count. So if you have people and employees, that creates physical nexus for you. The second type of physical nexus is your products. If you have inventory stored in a state, whether it's through FBA warehouses or not, or through a 3PL, your inventory is your physical presence. If you have any vehicles or even leased vehicles or leased properties in a state, those are also considered property in those states for you. So people and property create physical nexus. So if you're just starting to sell, you have physical presence in the states where you are living in, where your employees are, and where your inventory is. So first step is to register for all of these states. The second one is what we call economic nexus. Economic nexus didn't come into play until June of 2018. Before June of 2018, the only way the state can ask you to collect sales tax on their behalf and remit it to them is if you have the first type of nexus mentioned, which is physical nexus. And if you don't have any physical nexus, you don't have any obligation. But since our economy has shifted so much in the last 20, 30 years, from going to a brick and mortar store to shopping online, from shifting to buying physical goods for economy to a service-oriented economy, the states want to capture that kind of revenue by taxing remote sellers. So the states are saying now, if you sell enough products, if you have enough sales into my state, then that sales amount or the transaction amount, or a combination of both, creates a strong enough connection that you need to be collecting sales tax on customers and remit back to the state revenue agency. So we call that economic nexus. So if you sell your products into a state and you sell a good amount of it, usually the general rule is you have 200 transactions, meaning if you produced 200 invoices, if you've made 200 sales into a state, or if you've sold $100,000 worth of your products or services into a state, that means you pass the threshold. Then on your next sale, after you hit the threshold, you need to collect sales tax from customers in that state. Before you hit the threshold, that first $100,000 sale or the first 200 transactions that were made into customers in that state, you do not need to collect any sales tax. And once you collect, you don't owe any sales tax. That happened through that first $100,000 sale. So sales tax for economic nexus only gets triggered after you hit the economic nexus threshold. They won't look back. Everything's going forward. And this threshold usually resets every calendar year. So let's say you sold 150 transactions into a state this year. So you don't pass economic nexus. The next year, you sell 150. You don't need to add these two up to say accumulatively, I sold 300. You look at year by year. So if you sold 199, then you're good. If you sell 201, then you need to register and file. So when you're starting your business, you don't need to really worry about economic nexus unless you sell very small valued products, but very high volume. Then that could put you in a position where you'll trigger that 200 transaction really fast. But if not that, then when you are first starting to sell, when you're just starting your business, only worry about your physical presence, where you have people, where you have your property. That's where you need to register and start collecting sales tax on day one. Then I would recommend you going forward to monitor your sales volume and sales revenue into each state. Maybe do a quarterly review, pull your sales report and categorize and summarize your sales data by state. So you can look at the report and tell yourself, okay, this is how much I sold into state A in the past 3 months. This is how much I sold into state B in the past 3 months. And this is how many invoices were sent into customers in those states. And to see if you pass the economic nexus threshold or not. In the description, I will make a link so you can download our free economic nexus threshold by state. So that'll help you to decide and determine whether you've passed the threshold or not. So after you look at your sales, and if you pass the threshold in a state, I want you to ask yourself 2 questions. The first is, are my products taxable? And the second is, am I selling through a marketplace facilitator? Because to expand on the first question, if your products are not taxable, even if you pass the economic nexus threshold, you don't really owe the states anything because you don't need to collect tax on exempt products. So ask yourself and ask the State Department of Revenue whether your product is taxable. If it's not taxable, even if you pass the threshold, don't worry about it. The second question is, am I selling on a marketplace facilitator? And if the answer is yes, good news. You don't have to worry about sales tax either, because marketplace facilitators are supposed to collect and remit sales tax on your behalf. So what is a marketplace facilitator? A marketplace facilitator is, think of it as a platform like Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, eBay. They provide a platform for sellers to sell their products, and they facilitate the payment process. And sometimes they also help with the fulfillment. So if all of your sales are happening through a marketplace facilitator, even if you pass the threshold, the marketplace facilitator is going to remit on your behalf. So you don't need to worry about sales tax. So let me just summarize that really quick. After you determine that you've passed economic nexus, ask yourself, are my products taxable? Am I selling on a marketplace? If my product is taxable and I pass the economic nexus threshold and I do not sell on a marketplace facilitator, then it's my responsibility to register in that state and start collecting and filing sales tax. But if I pass the economic nexus threshold, but my product is not taxable, or even my product is taxable, but I sell everything on a marketplace facilitator like Amazon, I don't need to worry about remitting sales tax. Are you with me? Okay, so these are the keywords you need to ask yourself. Where do I have physical presence? Did I pass economic nexus in any of the states that I'm selling to? And for the states that I do pass the economic nexus threshold, are my products taxable? Am I selling on a marketplace facilitator? And you have to pass all of these to say, okay, if I'm selling on my own website, I pass the economic nexus threshold and my products are taxable. then I need to register and collect sales tax. That is a lot of information, but this is seriously the question that I go through on my consulting calls with clients for various sizes. So don't panic if you're just starting to sell. You usually don't need to register in that many states. And if you do later on down the road, always ask yourself, are my products exempt in certain states? Am I selling on a marketplace facilitator? So they are taking the responsibility on my behalf and remitting on my behalf. And this will really help you to feel calm and confident about sales tax and know that you're not in trouble. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And again, thank you so much for being on our channel. Please make sure to download the guide for our 10-step with sales tax and how you can manage it so it doesn't burn down your business. Download the Nexus Analysis Threshold list. And if you still have questions, feel free to schedule a consulting call with me. I love talking to business owners of various sizes and help them feel at peace with sales tax, or at least come up with a strategy for sales tax so they're not in panic mode or looking for informations that are just so contradicting and everywhere on the internet. I'd love to be there for you. And I hope you all have a good day. Bye.